Okay, everyone ready?
Alright.
Take it away.
Hello, my name is Ahi. I'm second year MFA student in interactive media. And first of all, thanks for being here. And I'm here to present my thesis project, The Future. And I'm here with my designer, Lauren, there. So this is me. I live in Pasadena, Los Angeles, along with many other people. And all I do every day is going back and forth between school and home and being stuck in traffic. So in short, I don't really get to look around what's there, what Los Angeles can offer, and in general, I'm too tired to think about it. But then, once in a while, you get the feeling that what the heck I'm doing here, and why we never get to see real Los Angeles is like. So, as a designer, I got to think, like, what can you do? So I went to look into the other aspect of our daily life, which is the mobile, and came up with a game, which is The Future, well, working title. And this is a game that makes you out of your routine and rediscover Los Angeles. And this comes with our heroine, Juliet, who represents more or less the white generation experience. And she's a character who's on the road to find her best friend, Emily, whom she lost contact with a long time ago. And throughout the journey, the game tells the story of what really happened between them, and what is she trying to do, and what kind of future she's envisioning. So I made a little book of game playthrough, and the game begins with Juliet writing an email to the player. So touch to begin, and it goes to the little form that puts your information. And let's say Peter, who's a USC student. And to Peter, Juliet is writing an email. Hello. Hey, you know what? I can use your help. And so why don't you get out of your room and come out? I will find you. And then so email sent. That goes to the gameplay screen. And this is a sample mock-up of how actual level works. So here's the mock-up UI. You get this iPhone icon. You can touch it, and that will open up your smartphone in game. The various stages indicate that whether you can use the phone or not. Here's the GPS information. This is Argentina, and the creator used the GPS track only for the city, not as a specific location. You will reach temperature. Temperature will affect the color scheme of the level. And the gameplay is rather simple. Tap to start and stop, and hold to accelerate. So let's see where she can go. So here's a funny museum. When you pass by a location, then the name pops up. And each of these little city level is made of this less known, not very touristy locations that we don't know much about city of Los Angeles. And then there is also environmental encounters. And then you get a text message, which is this UI. So this is our friend Liz, who saw Emily and say, hey, you know what, blah, blah, blah. And the cell phone UI actually plays a very important role in this game, not only to capture what's the contemporary social experience, but also to challenge how interface could tell the story. So if we choose right, and then this screen pops up, and you can actually swipe to change your response to it, and then send it. After 3 days of gameplay in real time, Julia finally gets to meet Peter. And Peter here, recorded by the live logging GPS, he spawns in his routine location, which is USC downtown, and he's here as an NPC, and he's just one-liner, based on what kind of profession you put in. So here, Peter, I'm so sick of studying. But then, when Peter, the player, gets out of his routine job, then there's a congratulation, you broke out of your routine, and now you can play yourself in this city you just unlocked. And when this happens, Juliet calls you, texts you, whatever, and then you can go help her to find a friend, or you can just explore that particular city level on your own. And I forgot to mention for this iPhone UI, I'm sorry, but this game uses not only the texting, also voicemail, phone call, and scripted Twitter and other social feed. So for the innovation, I'm really interested in how we can go further with GPS data and technologies, and I'm really interested in how live logging works in terms of the narrative system, and also interface as a storytelling device. But foremost, I'm really interested in what game can do to capture our contemporary experience, not only as the 20-something white generation, but also what's there right now in the city of Los Angeles. And USC is located in the center of LA, and I think it's about time we have a game about Los Angeles. Otherwise, I have to take it to UCLA. I don't think you like that. For this goal, we are going to concentrate on one level, make it perfect, work with the GPS, and there would be a pilot episode of Juliet as a front narrative. And then afterwards, we make 3 more levels and modify one for the exhibition. What I'm thinking is modifying one level for Culver City so that we can release the test level during the decade. And there are a lot other festivals we're interested in submitting the game. So technology is simple, Unity 3D or GPS API or PlaceMe SDK that the other software just released about 1 week ago. And 2D software, and this is the team info. We are looking for network programmers and level developers, really insanely crazy UI programmer who will work with me, producer, artist, sound designer, composer. This is the timeline. Most of the research will be done during the summer, and the first semester we'll be really focusing on making the one level right, and then expand with the content and finish. So thank you, and any questions?
What the Julia episode? How much is fictional versus something you're actually doing? So it's unclear to me from the presentation.
So she's the one that's driving the linear narrative aspect of the game, and
Okay.
that's about 50%. And the other 50% is about this ambient storytelling and discovering Los Angeles.
Okay.
And the more the player gets out of his routine zone, it will eventually even out as 50-50. In the beginning, it's 90-10, 80-20. So eventually they emerge.
Okay.
Ursula, I think that the core of the idea is really cool.
Thank you.
Engineering questions.
Yes.
GPS and Unity are the two of the biggest things you can do to drain a phone's battery, and phone batteries suck. Are you sure you want to do it with GPS tracking the whole time, or would you be have you thought about redesigning it so it's more of a check-in type game?
So Jeremy actually asked me the same question
Okay.
2 days ago, and I've been testing the PlaceMe SDK,
Okay.
and that's been very efficient.
Okay, cool.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know how it's going to work out by Unity, but we will have to go with the face and see how much we can do.
Okay.
Yes.
I appreciate you've added a whole lot to this in the last couple of days since we saw the Fox Fellowship presentation, just to help us understand the experience. So I understand the experience now, but I don't understand the core mechanic of the game aspect yet. I'm not sure what, I understand overall experience, but I don't understand is the moment to moment. What are you doing in the moment when you're actually going on a journey with this character or something? What is that like?
So one thing I actually forgot to mention is that you can also get into this location that gives you either the story about the location or different dialogue or actually a mini game. But I don't necessarily think of it as a conventional game that's mechanic heavy. This is more of an exploration, kind of slow experience, and you play what, 5 to 15 minutes when you just have a little time in cafe. You bring up your iPad and you play it to see what's actually out there. So I imagine this more as an interface between games and actual live application.
So then it's trying to show you cool places in LA like Tracy was talking about, or is it something else?
This is more of trying to introduce you what's actually out there besides the audience. When people talk about LA, it's very cinematic. They think about Hollywood, they think about, let's say, Disney Hall, Concert Hall, but there are like many other little locations, like a bunny museum that actually exists in Arcadena, and it looks exactly like this. Like, that's one of the things I want to show people, that there are many interesting out there in LA that you don't know about, but maybe seeing that here might trigger you to be more interested and acknowledging that there are things there.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope.
All right,
Thank
cool.
you.